Okay, well, you know what? Let's get started for now. People will start trickling in. So, welcome everyone. My name is Mish, um, helping out from Uncovering Spiritual Gifts. And we like to have speakers come on every once in a while to talk about their expertise in spirituality, whether that is astrology, psychic services, plant medicine, and today we have Andres coming on to talk about Iboga. Andres has been trained in many disciplines in this area that I am not even familiar with, so I'm also going to be learning a lot today. So, Andres, why don't you go ahead, take it over, and please tell us more about your spiritual gifts and tapping into Iboga.
Okay, thank you very much. Um, Nice to see so many people interested in Iboga. Actually, I think it was the last 2 weeks, it was only 23 people in the whole world searching for Iboga retreat in Europe.
Wow.
So, no one knows so much about this plant medicine. Actually, things you can read about it, it's usually lies. Because it's like confusing and they're mixing ibogaine with iboga, and it's a lot of information out there that like scares people. So I want to have this meeting to explain what I know about iboga, and yeah, that's it. And my name Andreas Ikalu. My Bwiti name from the jungle in Gabon, and the Bwiti tradition is Ikalu, and that's my spiritual name. And it means flipping negative to positive. And that's what I have done. I've been living my whole life in a negative state, and I managed to flip from negative to positive. And that's what we need to do in life, because if we are on the positive side, we wake up every morning, we see life as a gift. And when we start to see life as a gift, like the greatest gift, and when we start to love life, life will love us back. So it's a dance. And we, as human beings and souls, we are life itself. So that's why you need to love life, and life will love you back. So it starts with, you need to start love yourself, and then you love life. So it's a dance between the human being, the soul, and life. So the Bwiti tradition in Gabon is probably the oldest spiritual tradition on earth. No one actually knows how old it is because it's an oral tradition. They never write anything. They have not been sharing anything on paper. There is other types of Bwiti traditions that have sort of mixed with Christianity, and they've been mixing with other stuff, so that it's not like intact original teachings. So I'm connected to a tradition called Missoko Bwiti tradition, and it comes from actually the Babongo people, like we call it the Pygmies, the short people on earth, like the original people. And they were the original protector of Iboga. And in terms of the Bwiti tradition was existing before they found Iboga as well. But when they found Iboga, Iboga started to teach the tradition how to run things and work with Iboga. So everything around like a retreat and ceremonies and the music and the instruments, everything comes from Iboga. And you can't like change anything, you can't do anything by yourself because you feel like it. You need to stick exactly to what Iboga have teach you. And in terms of the plant or the tree Iboga, it's like a bush in Africa, and it's like has these orange fruits on it, and if you eat them, nothing happens. Nothing tastes like shit. And then you have the roots, and when they make the medicine in the jungle, they take the second layer of the root because that's the most potent part. So Iboga hides like in many steps before you can come to the power of it. And the medicine that we are using, it's old trees, like 40 to 80 years, and they take like a little bit of the root so it can still grow. So they don't like kill the tree when they harvest the Iboga. And in terms of what Iboga can do, it's a lot. And it started to get a lot of research now, and the research project about ibogaine, and ibogaine is an alkaloid in Iboga. It's one of the alkaloids. But the whole plant has a lot of alkaloids, and the scientists can't figure out how it works. Because you can't. Because Iboga is a spirit. So Bwiti, when they talk about physical world, spiritual world, they see it like Iboga as the highest nature spirit on earth, and the roots goes all around the world and holds the earth. And they call it the Godfather of all plants in the world. So it's like the president of all plants. So, and it's the only plant that has both a male and a female spirit. So it can show up as a female or male. And if I want to complicate it a little bit more, so there are three major spirits on earth. The biggest spirit is the spirit of life. The second is spirit of love. And when those two are together, when we love life, we have a really good life.
Hej, tak. Også lidt. Og godt.
Hello. And then we have the third spirit, who is like big. And that's the spirit of death. That's the negative spirit. So, and Iboga is the only plant who can speak directly to spirit of life. That's why you can heal things like this. Boom, 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 boom. If you're ready for it. Because we still, as human beings, we have our free will. So we can actually do what we want here on earth. So we just make different choices all the time. So we can choose exactly what we want. We can choose negative or positive. And we can also choose how we want to live our lives. And it's actually, everything is just choices. And Iboga can't override our free will. It can only show us what's possible, and it can help us release negativity, so we can make the choice to stop abusing, for example, ourselves. Because that's what we humans usually are doing. We are abusing ourselves, either with different addictions, or we have a negative inner self-talk, we have anxiety, we have depression, we have all these kind of things that go on all the time, and it's just abuse. And there is one very important law in nature, and it's if you abuse nature, you will pay the price. And the price is your own happiness. So that's your currency. And we humans, we forgot that we are nature. So when we abuse ourselves, we pay the price. And the price is our own happiness. So Iboga's original program is actually, it only wants you to be you. Not like this fake programming that you picked up during life, or you were having a lot of traumas, or you had a shitty childhood, you had complicated relationship with your parents, and you started to make these illusion worlds, and you become like just a software program. That's not you. You think it's you, but it's not you. So Iboga can show you fake self or true self. Then it's up to you to drop the fake self and become the true self. The problem is, for me, it was quite difficult choice because I really like to have anxiety. I really like to have depression. I enjoyed it. I was addicted to it. So when Iboga asked me, do you want to get rid of your anxiety? You have 10 seconds. Yes or no? And I say, I want to keep it. At least it's safe. It's familiar. Who am I without it? It's too scary to drop this cage that I build around myself. So it was a lot of work for me to make that choice to stop having anxiety, to stop having depression, to stop having a negative inner self-talk, telling that I was not good enough. But it's scary to do that because at least it's familiar, and at some point it saved me. This voice. But it was quite easy to drop it when I really understood that I'm just abusing myself. And when I was in the jungle the first time, I was still had some things from my childhood that I couldn't like really drop. Still pissed off about some things. And then Iboga and my soul came to me and said, you need to stop this now. Because what happened to you, it was not the worst betrayal. The worst betrayal, you stopped being you. So you need to apologize to yourself because you stopped being you. You created this fake self that doesn't work anymore. And I tried a lot of things to handle it. I was a severe alcoholic, I was a workaholic, I did a lot of exercise. I did everything to sort of try to figure life out. But when I finally apologized to myself that, yes, it was me, I did this to myself, and the soul forgave me, and then he gave back peace, joy, happiness, and say, okay, let's do this. Let's do this together, me and you. So now I'm listening to this silent voice inside of me, telling me, don't do that, don't go there. Yes, do it. Yeah, come on, let's do this. Let's live life. Yes, have fun. Yeah, enjoy this gift life. And my soul also knows a lot of shit that this person that you see here, he doesn't understand so much. So that's why I made my former CEO my mind. It's like my secretary now, and I have a new boss, and that's my soul. And this shamanic path that I'm on, it's actually not Andreas, it's my soul. So I just need to step aside and let my true self run the show. So before I started my spiritual path, I was an atheist. I was alcoholic, suicidal, depressed, a lot of anxiety. Wake up every morning, felt like life is shit. It's a struggle. My whole life has been just painful, and it came to a point where I really messed up with the alcohol, and I was laying in a dark room for like 5 days, and I chose between life and death, and I was really leaning into that. Finally, I made a choice. I choose life. And something inside of me shifted quite dramatically, and I could sense the spirit of alcohol leave. And that was my spiritual awakening. It was like, shit, there's another world here. So I need to explore this. So that's why I started working with different plants and different types of shamans. And but finally, when I came to this medicine and to Africa, I realized this is the real deal. Here I can find all the answers. Who am I? What is life? How can I live a happy life? How can I be in service to other people? What are my talents? What are my gifts? And start to live life, because it's a gift. So I need to treat it as a gift and not telling myself this life is shit, because then life becomes shit. So for me, to experience the negativity, like crawling around in this dark, negative mud, and rise, and then to be 100% positive, it's quite dramatic change. So but now I understand when people are on the negative side. So that's what we do during retreats. We help people to help themselves to make the switch from negative to positive. And then you can start to treat yourself as you should treat yourself, like a firstborn child or something. And love yourself. Take care of yourself. Do things that you love. Do things that you're passionate about, instead of doing things that you don't like. So it's been a very difficult ride, and especially for my family and my wife and kids. They've been seeing all these versions of me, and so I'm very happy to have stick together, and it's and now I can finally start to give back. Because when you're living with a depressed alcoholic who hates himself, it's not so fun, at least. So I'm open for questions if anyone wants to ask something about me or this medicine or this tradition.
What does an Iboga ceremony look like? I've never, is it multi-days? Is it one day? Is it how many people are there? What does a ceremony look like, as much as you can share?
It's always 2 ceremonies, and the first ceremony is what we call a detox. So a detox is detox spiritually, mentally, and physically. So it's like Iboga sending in like a cleaning team, and or you yourself doing it actually. So it needs to get rid of things that are not supposed to be there. Because fake programs, fake beliefs, lies you're telling yourself, all things that's not you needs to get cleaned. And for some people, this can be quite rough, because if you have been abusing yourself for a long time, it's a lot of things that needs to be cleaned. That's why people are a little bit afraid of this experience. You can grow up and you can have like purges, like with other plant medicines. And then the whole day after is like the most important day. So you have the ceremony the whole night, and then the whole day after you spend with yourself. Like if we call it a processing day. And there you have a lot of insights about yourself, why you're doing things that you're doing, and where does it come from, what's the root cause of my behaviors, so you can start to like study yourself. So the Bwiti, the name Bwiti, it is the study of life itself. That's what the tradition is all about, and the art of knowing. So when you're laying there on the processing day and you study yourself and you start to really learn how you are working. And Iboga also gives like gap, so you can start to see your thoughts, like these subconscious negative thoughts that are attacking you. You can start to really see them, and then you can learn like your own technique to say no, I don't want that, get out of here. So it's like going to the gym to fight negative thoughts. Yeah, so it's 2 different ceremonies during a week.
Okay, cool.
And it's important that it is like a week, because it's a whole process. And it's also a process to start spend time with yourself and be bored, not extracting with yourself with cell phones and other stuff. You need to like start to be with yourself. Okay. Anyone have more questions?
Yeah, Akshat has his hand up. Go ahead. You wanna...
Yeah, I was wondering if the Iboga tree or plant has any other symbiotic relationship with any other organisms in the area. Thanks.
Good question.
I don't know the word. What word did you say?
Symbiotic. So like like some flowers need like bees to pollinate to produce fruit, for example, or like this concept of like roots kind of having a relationship with mushrooms. or mycelia in the ground. So are you
Oh,
aware of
okay. Yeah.
any animals or trees or birds that kind of share?
Yeah. So, because Iboga is like the master plant. For example, my shaman, he goes to Iboga, and then Iboga connect him with other plants if he wants to heal someone, for example. So he have learned like 5,000 different plants through Iboga for different types of healings. So Iboga is like connected to everything. And animals, in terms of animals, Iboga like plant itself through elephants. So elephants eat the whole bush, and then they get really high, and then they, when they poop, a new tree pops up. Was that the answer of your question?
Yeah, that's fascinating. Thank you.
Mm.
There was a question in the chat. Is there any relationship between Iboga and, I'm going to try this, Kurasandismo? Because I'm going to try my hardest. Also from Afro-Latin American healings. I don't know what this is. If Donnie Yor wants to maybe elaborate. I've never heard of this, so I'm sorry if I'm saying it incorrectly.
Nothing that I have been heard about.
Yeah, I don't know. Donnie, do you want to elaborate on it? If you're able to come off mute. I just saw it in the chat.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
I am Donny Razim from Uzbekistan.
Anyone else?
Basically, I am
any question?
Ayurvedic doctor. First Ayurvedic doctor in Uzbekistan too. Ayush physician. So I learned about some new healing system like Kurandurismo. It is that healing system based on Africa, Latin America based. It is similar to shamanic healing. They have some rituals and some kind of herbal treatment. They some kind of system, but they are not developed as traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, but they have their own potency. What I'm following from this your lecture and your sharings, I can assume it is something within the Kurandarism. I think so. So I'm curious, what kind of, because I'm first time I came to such terms, Iboga.
Yeah, so I never heard about that before. It's just Bwiti and Iboga do their own thing, and it comes from everything comes from Iboga, so it's not like influenced by something else. It's all about the connection with Iboga. And in terms of the tradition, Iboga also have given the teachings around it. So it's a whole like framework around how you work with Iboga. So you can't have Iboga without the Bwiti tradition, and you can't have Bwiti tradition without Iboga. It's like they go hand in hand, and they are not like collaborating or are influenced by anything else. They just do their own thing. And you can't add anything, you can't mix anything. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're familiar if the Iboga tree grows in any other parts of the world. I know that it's very prominent in Africa and the subterranean areas. Thank you.
Yeah, it grows in that.
I mean, do you do the whole ceremony regularly or do you only do it once? There we go.
It depends. You do always start with a retreat when it's 2 ceremonies. So for some people that's enough. Sometimes people need to do and maybe do more Iboga after 6 months or 12 months, depending on how it goes when you integrate it.
Okay.
But you can't come and just do 1 ceremony, because then it's just a detox and you doesn't come anywhere. You need like the whole process. So it's not like other plant medicine when you do it 1 time and then, because it's a whole process to start to build up the relationship with your soul again.
Yeah. Another question was, are there Iboga ceremonies in the United States? Where can I get one? Or where can I search for one?
Yes, you can reach out to me, and then I can provide it, because they have opened up different churches in United States. So I can maybe send some websites for that.
Yes, well, thank you. Yeah, then Andres also does ceremonies. Andres, where do you normally host your ceremonies?
I'm in Portugal.
So for our European
Yeah,
people on the call.
yeah. So yeah, so we are in Portugal now. It's a good place.
Yeah, Aksha, you have another. Go ahead.
Yeah, in your presentation, you mentioned Iboga showed you the way of life, and life is just a combination of changes or cause and effects. So I was wondering, like, does that mean that you can predict the future by like making the best possible choice if you truly listen to the inner being?
Yes, it's possible if you listen to your soul. Because the soul can guide you the best possibilities.
Does that mean that once you are made the connection, you don't need to rely on the Iboga anymore, or do you still have to take it to keep that gate or door open?
Once you have the connection with your soul, you have the connection. It's like start to ride a bicycle. So when you have the connection and when you build up that connection, it's up to you to maintain it, and you don't need Iboga for that, because it's you. It's there all the time, waiting for you.
Thank you very much.
Another question
But
was,
also life is also,
sorry, Andres, go ahead.
yeah, but also life is also about the study of life itself, and sometimes we need to make choices, make mistakes, learn from the mistake. So it's like a journey. So but if you listen to your soul, the soul only wants you to be happy and only wants you to do good things for yourself and what you're supposed to do. So that's a better voice to listen to than a crazy mind.
Yeah, there's
It's
another.
it's sorry,
Oh,
I just wanted to add to that. Yeah, that's very fascinating. It's almost like saying that life is a journey. It's a winding road, or it can be a straight line. But it's about what decision or choice you're making or wishing to wish. So careful of what you wish for concept. Yeah, thank
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
Mm.
Because you instruct your soul as well. Because you have the free will.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another question in the chat. Is Iboga legal in the United States? Is it legal in Portugal? Is it legal?
No, in the US it's illegal. So in Portugal it's not illegal. So you can have retreats here.
Any other questions? Those are good questions.
Yeah, how is it different from ibogaine? Because you said ibogaine is like just a part of it. So do you know how the results are different?
I'm not an expert on Ibogaine because I'm more into the spiritual part of Iboga. But what I have heard about Ibogaine, it's very effective for addictions, like on a physical level. So you have incredible results for example, heavy addictions. But I would say that if you truly want to heal yourself, then you need to also heal on a spiritual level. And there is Iboga. So, but there is a lot of research now and scientific facts about Ibogaine. It's really helping people with addiction, PTSD, and all that stuff. And but it's more like on a physical level.
Thanks.
Yeah, Raul, go ahead.
You mentioned PTSD. I had recently watched a podcast on IBA and how they're trying to legalize it within the U.S. because the benefits are great for PTSD. You know, soldiers that suffer from that from going to war. And I've heard that soldiers in the U.S. have had to go to Mexico, where it is legal, to get treated for ibogaine, and they threw out a crazy statistic. It's like 97% of the people that went in came out as their original selves, which is crazy. These are people that were, suffering from depression, suffering from,
Yes.
heroin, meth, you name it. People that came out of there were had a new life to look at.
Yes, it's
it's very fascinating.
So yeah, this is incredible. So it helps a lot of people.
Yeah, there's another question in the chat. What about magic mushrooms? Do the origin from Iboga, do they originate from Iboga, and do they get the same effect from them?
So it's completely different. Mushrooms are like connectors. So sometimes when people take magic mushrooms, they can connect to Iboga and say, yeah, you should maybe go to the president. But so they're collaborating, but I don't know the origin and how exactly that works. But I know that they're speaking to each other, the two spirits.
Good question. Yeah. Any other questions? These are good questions. Is it a pleasant or unsettling experience to be on Iboga?
It's very different for different people. Everybody is just having a different experience. For some people, it's very unpleasant because sometimes Iboga needs to show them how they treat themselves. So in my example, my first experience with Iboga was very challenging because it felt like I was sort of tortured. But then I realized that this is what I'm doing to myself. And when I realized this is what I'm doing to myself, I could start to like say no to it. And when I made that choice to say, I'm going to stop doing this to myself, it stopped. But so the unpleasant can be when Iboga tries to show you how you treat yourself, and it can sort of amplify it a little bit. So you can have a really good look at it. But when you make the choice to stop, treat yourself as you treat yourself, then it just stops, because then you have learned a lesson. So it's like it's a teacher of truth, and that's like the scariest thing for all humans is to have a look at their own shit, like what they're doing to themselves, and also admit that I'm doing this to myself.
Yeah, Raul, go ahead. Oh, was that just your hand from before?
Oh, I'm
Oh, there
sorry,
you
I
are.
was on mute. Yeah, I was just wondering if you know if there's like any like ancient civilizations that have used ibogaine in the past. I know there's some civilizations that have used like ergot, you know, for like rituals and such. Does the same thing apply to ibogaine? Is there were there like tribes out there that used it ceremonially? That's kind of like well known through history.
There's not so much I can share about this. It's a little bit of secrets, but I can give you a hint. And they found Iboga at the pyramids.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
I can't tell you more about it right now.
cool. I'll drop your contact details in the chat. Just gonna put that there in case anyone is interested of the secrets of Iboga. Amazing. Any other questions? These have all been really good. Amazing.
But back to the question about if it's pleasant or unpleasant experience, it's both.
Mm.
And yeah, but it's not like fun thing, not at all. It's boring. Healing is painful, but when you come out on the other side, it's amazing.
Mm. Another question, does one need to do anything ahead of time to prepare for an Iboga ceremony?
Yeah, first you need to do like an ECG or EKG to see if your heart is fine, and then probably some other health related tests, or sometimes like a panel liver test or check the kidneys, so you know that your health are good. And that's like the health thing. And if you're on any medications that can be like contra with the Iboga, you need to like taper off, subscribe medications and pharmaceuticals. So that's like the it's a whole protocol on the health part. In terms of the healing part, it's the preparation is actually when you make the choice to work with Iboga, Iboga starts to work with you even before the ceremony, because it's your soul who connects you with Iboga, and that's you. And so what Iboga and your soul wants from you is brutal honesty. To say, I want to change, I want to stop doing this to myself, or I want to do things. Maybe it's more about things that holds you back in life. Maybe you want to do something, but you block yourself, or you don't dare to do things that you're supposed to do because you're scared. So it can be in that way as well. But if you come in and you are honest and you say, yeah, this is what I'm doing to myself, this is what I want to do, but I can't do it, and I really need to change. So it's more about honesty. But you don't need any diet or something. You can eat whatever you want.
Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Andreas. We appreciate you coming on. Once again, for anyone that does want to connect, I just dropped all the contact details in the chat there. This has been absolutely amazing. I know I've learned a lot as well, because I hadn't heard about this before we spoke, so I'm curious to hear more about the secrets. But yeah, for anyone that wants to continue to join any of these types of events, I'm also dropping the link to our Facebook group where we drop these events usually every other week. We have a couple events coming up in the month of January: inner child healing, death doulas. We've had astrologers come on, and also the recording. Once everything goes well, you'll get an email from me, including Andre's contact details as well, and the recording of this session in case you want to go back and review some of the information. But thank you so much, everyone, for coming, and thank you so much, Andreas, for living in your life's purpose and sharing your journey with us, and sharing the power of that Iboga can have for those that are seeking it. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And yeah, keep on keeping on. Appreciate you all.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks all. Awesome.